man, they would bring in like
That's the energy though, right there.
every cook they had, every expo that they had.
All hands on deck.
All hands on deck.
Ain't there nothing
And
more exhilarating than a fucking restaurant rush?
That is not the word
No,
I
no,
used
no,
to
no,
describe
no.
that, bro. That is not
was
the
a
word.
nightmare. And
I'm
I'm not even
traumatized.
Exhilarating is not a good word.
Traumatizing.
Yeah, every
When you're in the weeds, you're just no.
It's that you never forget the sound of the ticket printer.
That's what it
Never-
is. That's what I was gonna say. I would go to bed that after boat show night, and I would hear it all night.
So who's OJ?
OJ, he was my first boss over there. He was the executive chef. He hired Pete, I think, as well.
I call him Dad.
Yeah, he is dad, man.
Like 50s? How? Give me a profile.
Nah, I guess that was misleading.
I don't know, you want to describe OJ?
How old do you think he is? Fucking 36?
Probably, yeah.
Is gonna be my guess.
Great cook or chef?
Yeah, he's been at Bradley's for like fucking 15 years, probably, or
Really?
something like that.
He's self-taught.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he's good. Like I always enjoyed everything that he made. I think he was put into like the position initially, kind of almost out of like we got nobody, and he stepped up.
Yeah.
And I think he did pretty good for them.
I know a
for
lot
quite
of cooks
while.
that started like that. In the 3 or 4 restaurants I worked for, it was kind of like that. Like, who the fuck can do it? And then they figure it out. So you were food running, then you got hired as a line cook. What was the next step?
No, so I was food running, and then I would kind of come in on my days off, and he would teach me some of the stations. Started me off at like saute, so I learned how to do like a couple of the, I think one of them was like chicken piccata, and what would they have on the menu at the time? It was like, fuck, dude, I can't even remember now. But
Shrimp and grits.
Yeah, thank you, shrimp and grits and
That
stuff
was
like
one of my
that. Yeah,
favorites.
that was good.
Shrimp grits bangs.
That was a
dude.
good one.
That's fire.
Yeah, you would like teach me some, how to do some of these things, and then
Maryland crab cakes.
yeah, those are banging.
Yep.
And then I kind of like would go
Shut
over
up, man.
maybe to the fry station was easy, just drop it in the fryer
Exactly.
and wait for it to crisp up, take it out. Flat top, and then like the cold side, I kind of learned how to. I just like learned how to do some of it. I didn't really learn how to do like a lot of it, and learn like knife skills and stuff like that. Which are like super crucial if you want to be a chef. You have to have good knife skills. So he taught me a lot, and I didn't ever stay on the line. Like I never did it, but he taught me how to do it, and he taught me how to do some of the ordering. Brett was like my daytime manager.
Shout out
there,
to
too.
Brett.
Dude, that
Brett
guy.
Who's the homie? Brett Marzek.
Yeah, he was the man, dude. I learned a lot from him, and also,
He's actually a watcher of the podcast.
Really?
Yeah.
Thanks,
Really?
Brett.
oh, that's awesome.
And he was a manager at Bradley's, or a server, bartender?
Yep, manager.
Okay.
I
Worked in
learned-
the kitchen and front of house.
Okay.
But it's-
Yeah, he was incredible.
Yeah.
That guy is a beast, dude. During sorry, another sidetrack, but during boat show weekend, it is boat show and Sunfest. Well, mostly boat show is just like
It's more than Sunfest?
Yeah.
for the kitchen. It is because
Wow.
people are
Oh,
dining.
yeah, that's
like
true,
when
that's
more
true.
people are drinking during Sunfest, so it hits the bars a lot harder.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the
Right.
fry station is pretty busy. There's chicken wings and French fries and whatever things like that. But people are like dining.
Yeah.
They're coming in for chicken sandwiches and whatever. Fucking the entire
I'll never
menu,
forget
basically.
those days, bro.
Man, they would bring in like every cook they had, every expo that they had,
All hands on deck.
all hands on deck. Dude.
Ain't there nothing
And
more exhilarating than a fucking restaurant rush?
That is
Dude,
not the word
no,
I
no, no,
used
no,
to
no, no,
describe
no.
that, bro.
This
That is not
was
the
a
word.
nightmare,
Yeah,
and
I'm
I'm not even
traumatized.
kidding.
Exhilarating is not a good word.
No,
Traumatizing might be appropriate.
Every
When
boat
you're in the
show,
weeds, you're just no.
It's that you never forget the sound of the ticket printer.
That's what it
Never-
is. That's what I was gonna say. I would go to bed that after boat
Period.
show night, and I would hear it all night.
Were you expedited, or did you have it expedited?
No, this is what I was about
Brett
to say.
would get like brought from the front to the back
Yeah.
to be the extra.
They're like, you're
Yeah.
doing this, man. Like we will not survive this if you don't do it. And he would just
fucking
rock
take his
that
tie
fucking
off.
kitchen, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rock it. Yeah, he was just like, I need 3 of this, 3 of
Yeah.
this. He's like, Bobby, where are you at on this? Where's my fucking salad? Blah, blah,
Fries
blah.
working.
Yeah.
Fries
Fries,
working.
get 'em
I
down,
need him
get
down.
him
I need him down.
Yeah, and he was just building everything, dude. He was amazing. Like, I can't, like.
It's literally like a battleship. Like
Yeah, when you watch somebody who's good at something, it's it's cool.
Yeah.
It was traumatizing, but unlike baseball, that's something that I would go back and do today. If me, you, and Brett could go work the kitchen on a Saturday
Ryan.
night, I would sign up.
Ryan, too.
Oh my God, my boy.
That kitchen. We could
Shout
do it, the
out,
3 of us.
Ryan.
The 4 of
Yeah.
us here. That's just the whole fucking
I feel
boat
like
there.
we could take on a boat show, dude.
Yeah.
That's a dream team right there.
Yeah. So Brett was one of my managers at the time. Learned a lot from him. But he showed me how to do like a lot of the ordering and things like that. And he was really good with the front and the back of the house. And like, I liked his approach, to staff, and I almost take some of that with me. Like you learn good things from people and you learn some bad things from people, like things to be able to avoid. I didn't learn anything that wasn't good from, just everything from Brett that I learned was good. He was a man. But I would start like expediting and then maybe like managing some stuff if they didn't have like one of their managers working or whatever, or they needed to fill in. Started doing that on Saturdays. Me and Ryan would expedite like Saturday day, which was a really, really busy day for us. And, we would crush it and rock it. And eventually they had an opening over at one of their sister restaurants, Nick and Johnny's. It's kind of like, I guess, a funny story. Like the story that I got was, like one of the chefs, he's kind of a drunk and he stole all this chicken and he got pulled over. And do you know what I'm talking about?
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, he stole all this food.
He took raw chicken, put it in his pockets, and ran home.
I think it was
with
like a case.
No,
probably.
he like filled up the backseat of his car with like a lot of things.
Yeah, and like, I don't know, he got like pulled over. Maybe he was like fucked up and drunk or something, and then got fired. So the chef at the time over there was Eddie, and Bermudez. Right? Yep. That's right. That's right. Eddie, is that your last name? That's your last name.
Eddie, is that your last name?
That's you're probably listening.
Nick and Johnny's, you said?
Yeah.
Where is this?
It's just up the street from Kachina.
Yeah, so this is on the island on Point Siena, Point Siena, right before South County Road.
I know you're talking about.
Yep.
That was like their casual fine dining restaurant.
Yep.
The food was great, and Eddie he is an excellent chef, and I learned a lot from him too.
He's done a lot of great things at Bradley's.
Yeah, he's doing really, really, really well. But so at the time they're like, we need a guy to help fill in, like on maybe some managerial stuff and
Key holder.
Basically, like Eddie needs more time off. Like he needs to be able to have his Sundays off, and we need like a Sunday manager. We also need like a cold side cook.
I'd be willing to bet today Eddie still needs more time off.
The guy,
just a hunch.
Yeah, he's a man, dude.
Jack of all trades is what they needed,
bro. Yeah, I mean. I was happy to do whatever, and I was not the best person in there at the time, but like I went and I wanted to learn. So that was like their pitch to me. It was like, do you want to go over here at Nick and Johnny's? It's casual fine dining, but the menu is like a little bit more elevated, and that's what you want. So you can learn. And Eddie was an excellent teacher, and anything I had a question about, he was there for me. So he taught me a lot food wise as well. And by no means at this point am I like a chef, even to this day, I'm not like a fucking chef by any means, but like I love cooking and I learned a lot of shit from him.
You can throw down.
I feel like you're selling yourself a little bit short, bro.
It's not like
Chef
that.
Cota, bro, in the building. Come on.
Yeah?
I like to cook. I cook.
Okay.
Definitely cook.
Great chef.
Too humble.
Thank you.
He throws down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I told you the last time I saw him was at his pop-up dinner.
Like if I chopped you, right? So that show Chopped, if I gave you like 4 ingredients.
If you're like, here's a hot dog and here's a carrot, I'm not gonna make anything for you.
Yeah, fire.
But if you give me like a kitchen full of things, I can do something for you.
What's your favorite cuisine? You like that word, cuisine?
That's nice. Probably. I mean, Mexican has like my heart.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I grew up with. As well as like Cajun food.
Okay. So shrimp ball.
Yeah, I love it. I love it all.
Nick, look at me real quick. Do you have something in your teeth?
You've had something in your teeth.
You have something in your teeth.
Where?
I always tell people when they have something in their teeth.
That's a good point.
But yeah.
It's still there.
One
not
over.
in the middle.
To me.
One over.
To
the
me,
other
though.
side. Yeah. No, you went too far.
Too far.
Over. Yeah, that one. Right.
We're gonna edit this
you
part
got
out.
It, but it's still in there.
I got it.
Nice. All right.
Okay.
Cool. I'm glad we got that.
Yeah.
out of the
Usually,
way.
I always tell people, but I'm like in this
They
setting, who
could
gives
never
a
have
shit?
seen it on the camera.
Yeah, exactly. That was my thinking.
Your murals.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm here for you, buddy.
So Cajun food, Mexican food, and then probably within like the last couple of years, like Asian food.
Okay.
Love it, all of it.
All of it.
And I like to cook it, so it's a lot. It's like fun. Like I love to cook.
Yep.
Would you say that same list is the same food you enjoy to consume as well as what you enjoy to?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I'd say so. There's just like a lot of like I think Italian food is probably my least favorite food because it's like more savory. I think.
Yeah.
Where like I like spice.
that probably
This
just
is
hit him in the
this is
soul.
what it is. I'm sorry. It's that I like spice and citrus. Where there's not a lot of
Does that
spice
describe
and
your
citrus.
personality? Spice and citrus.
Maybe
Does
Pete.
does he
Talk to
seem
Pete.
like a spice and
Hey,
citrus
spicy
personality?
guy.
I think Ryan has some layers to him. You know what I'm saying? You got a
Hey,
spicy side. I know you do. There's
like
no
an
way you
onion.
can be a restaurant manager and owner if you're not a fucking spicy
He's
guy.
like a nice curry.
yeah,
A lot of
yeah,
things
yeah.
going on in there, you know?
Yeah.
Does that curry ever pop? I'm sure it does.
I
I don't
Make a
even know if that was
spicy
an
curry.
appropriate
Yeah.
analogy. I don't
Yeah.
even know anything about curry, but it felt
Fuck
right.
with curries?
In the moment, it felt right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Ryan. Continue on your
That's
timeline.
okay. All right, so I go over there. I'm learning a lot from Eddie. I'm also learning a lot from this guy Carlos, who is like an expediter, but he fucking ran the kitchen like a boss
Yep.
too. And then at one point, 123 was about to open up, and they're like, "Do you want to go run that kitchen?" You know, but the menu's going to be like pizzas, you know, a couple appetizers, maybe some sandwiches or
Bar
something.
food.
Yeah. And in my head at the time, I'm like, if I do this, like, I will never learn anything else about cooking unless I like take it on myself to go learn something outside of this.
What was the
And,
position they were offering?
Just
Manager?
run the kitchen.
Okay.
Run the, you know, you are the,
Yeah.
you know, they're trying to sell it to me. So
Yeah.
they're like, you are the
your
executive
kitchen.
chef.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, the executive chef of pizzas?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
who
yeah.
fucking cares about that? I don't. Like, I literally didn't care about that even, you know, at the time. I'd say almost the entire time that I've been working there, I have not ever cared about me being the executive chef. You know,
Is it Ryan Cota, the executive chef? Was it? Is it? Is that your?
that was like
is
the
that your
title.
business
That
card?
was the title they were
Not
giving
now.
me.
It's
Okay.
grown. It's
Okay.
grown.
Yeah.
But I didn't care about that. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm not going to learn anything more to this. So I had this long talk with Eddie, and it's kind of funny. It was like in the middle of a work day, so they definitely needed him. But he took the time out of his day, which I appreciate, to be able to talk to me about, you should take this position. But this, and these are the reasons why. So he gave me a bunch of different reasons, like one of them being like, this is like your foot in the door. You're going to learn how to do all these other things, and it's going to be very challenging for you. You know, call me anytime you need something. I was like, Eddie, I don't even know how to make pizza dough, dude. He's like, I'll teach you. He's like, I don't even know how to make pizza dough. Let's go figure it out.
Mhm.
So he convinces me to take this job. Very grateful, obviously. That was pretty much like the start of
The
my
catapult.
trajectory into like where I'm at right now.
And
But-
I mean, dive into the role of you starting up 123 a little bit too. You know, like you sort of created that entire opening menu, right?
Yeah, no, I was like the guy there. But
And
like
at that
again,
time, I remember you telling me that you went up and down Clematis Street looking at all of the competitors' menus, or just really everyone's menus up and down the street, to get an idea of price points,
You were a
the
student of the game.
demographic.
Yeah.
He's saying that this is a position he didn't want, but I think it says a lot about your character also, that you took this position that you weren't even crazy about and took it so seriously that I think you went above and beyond in a way that a lot of people taking a job that they do give a fuck about
Yeah.
wouldn't even have gone to those levels. You know, you took it very serious and you did a really great job, especially for someone coming from no experience in that realm, you know?
yeah, well, thank you. Like one of my friends, John Pilchard, he would always say, like, I just don't want to suck. Like, I don't want somebody
Yeah.
to be like, that guy
Was that not our
sucks."
motto at one point at 123?
Well, one of our mottos was, you got to be shitty before you get good.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was pretty shitty. I was
Yeah.
like, but I wanted to be good. I didn't want anybody to be like, this is a hassle. This is a headache. You know, I wanted to like take it upon myself and just be good at it, you know, and try. Like, even if I wasn't,
shitty before
you got to be
get
shitty
good.
before you get good. We almost like wrote it up on like,
So
the
you
fucking
hire
hater,
someone,
dude.
yeah.
You're gonna paint it on the
I'm
wall.
like, look, dude, you suck right now. But look at our motto. It's like up on the
You'll
wall.
get there.
Yeah, you're gonna get there, man.
We all
So this
sucked
is
at
when
one
you
point.
two met. Was when he took over 123's menu?
Shortly after, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was, you know, I had opened up
Yeah.
123, as like the cook
Yeah.
or whatever. They had this guy working as a GM at the time, and he got let go. And shortly after that, our sister restaurant, nightclub bar, whatever, Kachina.
Right.
There's some overlapping partnership, you know, which is like makes it into the family. Was closing down. They were remodeling. They were going through some stuff or whatever, and they needed a GM. So that's like where Pete stepped in. So Kachina was closed. Pete was a GM over there. They pushed him over to us.
Really, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Huh.
So he was the GM, and I was like running the kitchen.
Oh,
So
no
that's how
shit.
we initially like.
And that's a
overlapped.
huge relationship. I mean, a lot of you guys probably work in hospitality, but I remember that relationship. The head cook and the GM are like.
That was
you
my
know,
dog, bro.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
I
We
mean, I
talked-
remember those days. Like,
How was your working relationship?
amazing.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
incredible.
we would just sit in the banquette. I feel like for the first like hour, so like when I'd first show up to work and he was caught up with his prep and stuff. We just like sit in the banquette and talk about everything, like whatever we were thinking about for the business, for the bar, even personal stuff. I feel like, and
Yeah, it definitely was.
there was, I don't know, just so many good conversations during those times, and I just feel like we got very close very quick.
Yeah.
I don't know. We just
How
hit it
long
off.
was that period for that you guys did that?
Just shy of a year, I think.
Oh, really? So it was a good amount of time.
Yeah.
I'd say
Yeah.
like probably around 8 months. About.
I was gonna say 8 months too. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was cool because it was really nice to be able to be with somebody who was putting so much effort into
Yeah.
it. Like just as much effort that I was
Yeah.
putting into something.
Was
My
going
partner
through the
was as
struggle
well.
with you. Exactly. When
Yeah.
when you're struggling and you're pushing for more, you like to accountability partner, whatever you want to call it. You like to know that someone else is along that journey with you,
Mhm.
And you know that
And cares as much as you do.
exactly.
Yeah.
They're not gonna make fun of you or they're gonna push you for more. Like we set a standard, we gotta hit that, So you guys worked together for a year, then what? What was it after that?
Well, you had gotten a job offer, right?
Right. So I got offered the job for Southern Wine and Spirits
Okay.
as like the biggest liquor distributor in the country. And at that time, I mean, I thought it was like a dream job. I think most GMs in the restaurant industry, at least like the rumor that I had always heard was like to become a liquor rep is like the goal. That's like a job that you get to stay in the industry that you know and love, which is the bar business. But you don't have to work the crazy late hours. You don't have all the stress of like the business being on your back. And it's kind of like a fun 9 to 5 job. It was my understanding or like the vision that was always sold to me. So when I got offered that job, it was like amazing, and I was excited to take it.
Yeah, there was also a little bit of back and forth, I remember at the time, because it was like, Kachina's going to be opening up. Will
Right.
Pete be the GM again?
Right.
We at that time, we ended up finding out the answer is no to that.
Mm-hmm.
They were going to hire another person for it. So Pete could have maybe gone there, managed. He could have stayed at 1-2-3, been the GM there, continued there. Or he had a lot of options. It was like 1, 2, or 3,
Yeah.
one of those things.
What would you have picked?
Well,
Well,
you'll find out what he did pick.
I know, but between 1, 2, 3 and Cucina, where would you want to have gone?
At that time, once I found out I wouldn't be the GM at Kachina, having previously been the GM at Kachina, I wasn't super stoked about going back and taking like a lesser role, And I was super happy being at 1-2-3 with Coda, like me and Coda were loving working there together.
it
So
was
I kind of told them, like I think I'd rather just stay at 1-2-3.
Okay, and then this third option came.
But then
and
the
you
third
took that,
option
yeah.
came about, and I don't think I'd even really made that decision yet. I had all 3 options, I think,
Yeah.
being weighed on at one time.
If I remember correctly, at one point it was like, okay, Kachina is out as the GM.
Right.
I think I want to stay at 1-2-3,
Right.
and then at
third,
some
yeah.
point, maybe even 2 weeks down the road, could have been even a week down the
Yeah.
road. It was
Right.
like, hey, this is an option for you now as well. And we
Yeah.
talked about that for like quite a while.
Yeah.
That was like something that you were thinking about. Do I do this? Do I do that?
Were
for
you,
a
so you
while.
were the first GM of 1, 2, 3.
No, not necessarily. There was this guy Scott before me.
Okay.
When it
Yeah,
first
he was the
opened.
opening GM.
Okay.
And
Oh, that's
how-
right. You told me.
How long of
Yeah.
a phase was he there for, you think?
I mean, he was there for probably like a month and a half prior.
Yeah.
And then
He was taking it in a little bit of a different direction, sort of. He had like a super prestigious background in like mixology
Yeah.
and craft
this guy knows
cocktails.
his shit.
He knows
Yeah.
everything there is to know about craft cocktails.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
beer. He's very good with beer.
Part of like the USBG, like at that time he was like the president
yeah.
of the
the
USBG.
U-
or
the
something.
United States U.S.
Bartenders
Bartenders
Guild.
Guild. Yeah.
But he didn't get the
Um,
culture.
What?
He didn't understand the culture of what you guys were trying to
It
do.
was like
I wouldn't even say that. I almost think it was just like a little bit like I know Scott, I think well enough to say to say this with confidence
Yeah.
that he might have a little bit of trouble taking direction from somebody that he doesn't think really knows.
Is it an ego thing?
I don't think he has like a big ego, because I could talk to him about something.
Yeah.
And if I made a good argument, he could say, okay,
Yeah.
But at the time, I didn't have knowledge.
Yeah.
I had no
and at
knowledge.
that
of
time,
anything.
I mean, not at that time, but in general, there's not a lot of conversations that are happening that way when it's that relationship from like owner to manager, Usually the owner is saying how they want it and how it's going to be done. And it's like up to the manager to say like, okay, and execute
Yeah.
that. And I think that is probably where that
That's-
disconnect was. He has all this knowledge, an abundance of knowledge in the job that you have put him in a place to do.
let me make my own.
Let me make the
yeah.
decisions. That's why you put me here, you know?
Correct.
So, and 1, 2, 3, at that time, I think, you know, there's a lot of investors and partners and stuff.
Oh,
So
yeah,
he
it
was
was
probably getting
difficult.
direction from all these different people
Yeah.
that know far less than he knows about the bar, at least, you know, cocktails in that specific area.
Even volume, you know, he worked at Copper Blues for a long time. Like,
Sure.
that's a fucking volume place.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, you know, I'll let you finish on your point because, like you said, you know him much better than I do. But I think he was just butting heads with, you know, the
Some of
owners
the
and
partnership,
stuff
yeah.
because they don't have the knowledge that he has, but they're the ones telling him what to do.
They're
And I
cutting
could, I
checks.
can
Yeah,
see how
yeah.
there could be a disconnect.
Yeah. So, I mean, he got let go, I think, because of probably butting heads
Yeah.
with some of the ownership. But then that's when Pete stepped in. And then, like, we had developed this relationship. And then at some point, you know, Pete gets all these options.
Yeah.
And he decides to go with the Southern job.
Yeah.
So, being like the cook, you're there 3 hours before the place opens. So something that I had going for me was like I say like going for me, but it was also just so annoying. I'm like trying to like cut an onion or something, and I got like people walking in just being like, "Hey, can you check this order in? Hey, I'm here to fix this. I got an electrician who's here. Like, hey man, like where's your ladder at? I need to do this or that. And hey, do you know about this?" And I'm like on the phone. And then I got somebody else who's like with our POS system that's like, "Hey man, this thing's broken." And I'm like, it takes me like 1 hour to cut an onion. Fucking crazy. So I say now, like I had this going for me was that I knew everything that was broken. I knew everything like how to fix it or who I should be calling to be able to fix something. Really I knew how to operate and keep the doors open. And I was like doing invoices and stuff like that, writing checks for whatever, you know, Pete might just like, we would like have an invoices file and I would write, you know, checks for some of the things, and some of these other things are on fintech and whatever. But like I knew everything.
Yeah.
The only thing I didn't know how to do was like payroll, make the front of the house schedule, and make a vodka soda, and among other things. So one of the guys that I was working with in the kitchen at the time, he was like, we called him my sous chef.
Yeah.
I think he was just doing it because he liked it, and he liked me, and he was way too overqualified.
What's his name? Shout him out.
Kevin Stambog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guy is amazing guy.
Yeah.
I learned a lot from him. You know, he had just such a good perspective on life, on business, on everything. He was incredibly smart.
Yeah.
He was like, "You should be the GM. You know, when Pete leaves, be the GM." And I was like, no, I don't think I'm ready for that. He's like, "You're ready. Just do it. You know, you won't ever be ready if you don't just take the jump."
I agree.
And he talked me into it, and I talked to Pete quite a bit about it, and he was like, "You should be the GM. You know, be the GM there. Like, put your name in the hat. Talk to Rick about it." Rick is our primary operating partner of 1, 2, 3. Well, and among other things, but here in this situation of 1, 2, 3, and they convinced me to. So I talked to him, and you know, I was pretty nervous. I was like, I don't know how to do these things, but like I will, and I want the job. Like I know how to do all these things, you know, and I think that that's worth something. So he was like, okay. Like I think in that immediate conversation that we had, he was like, yeah, let's do it. Okay, you're gonna be the GM now. And I was like, oh, okay.
What was that feeling right there? What was that feeling? Yes or oh shit?
I mean, it's hard for me to say.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I don't get excited about a lot of things, which is kind of a funny thing
It's
to say.
a good and a bad thing. Yeah.
Yeah, because I try to like weigh out my options and look at it from an entire perspective, a round perspective, instead of just like firing my guns first.
Yeah.
And so in that moment, I don't know what it was.
Do you think the staff was fucking pumped that you were the GM? Because that's always a huge scare when the GM goes out. Who's going to be the next GM?
We had such a small staff there, I feel like, that we all got along so well. Yeah, it was
What was
pretty
your
small.
staff there? 20?
Not even.
Really?
Yeah.
7?
Yeah, right.
What,
We were all just homies.
Yeah.
really? So it was just a night? I've never been to 1, 2, 3, and then now I'm going to go to 1, 2, 3.
Party.
Yes. But what at the time, was it just a night bar and club? Describe the profile of the bar or restaurant to me.
I'll let you do that, Cota.
Well, it's a New York concept, so it started as 310 Bowery in Manhattan, Lower East Side, and they took that concept and they brought it down to West Palm. It's like it's very much like a party bar, like fast vodka soda, Bud Light. You know, that's how it is up there, like vodka soda, Bud Light, DJ, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, good clientele. They do 23 and up as like a rule, so like anybody who's under 23, you're probably not going to get it. Like chances are you will not be getting it. Yeah. If you're like 21, no way, dude. 22 depends who you're with or like who you're meeting or something like that. And you got to be dressed well enough, well. But it's like try to, we try to direct our business towards like young professionals.
Yeah.
That rule also.
So in 1, 2, 3 was the same way. If you're 21 or 22, you can't get it. Really?
It does a couple things. I love it.
Yeah,
it's a great rule, to be honest. And exceptions are made, like you said. It's not like a concrete rule. Exceptions get made sometimes. But one thing that it adds a ton of value is like it gives you that opportunity to say yes or no to anyone at the door that's under 23. Sure. But also it eliminates a lot of the fake IDs because a ton of people who have fake IDs have it for 21 years old.
Yeah, true.
So if the rule is that it's 23 and up, like you don't even have to have that conversation back and forth of like if it's real or fake. You don't make the cutoff anyway.
Huh.
But then also it just gives you that ability to stand at the front door and say and pick and choose who between that window of 21 and 22 you're gonna let in.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Eliminates like stupid fights.
A lot of the riffraff.
Yeah, a bunch of crap that you just have to deal with as like a young person drinking.
Especially with there being like 2 college campuses pretty close to 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you guys are open, 4 to 2? I mean, what was the hours there? What was the operating hours?
At the time, dude, it was like when we first opened, it was like 12.
We were opening for lunch. That's right.
Yeah, dude. But now we're open Friday, Saturday, 5 to close. Midnight, 2 a.m. Saturday, Sunday, it's 3 to close. 2 midnight on Sundays or something at the latest. But yeah, that's
Monday,
like
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, nothing.
Oh no, we're open. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 5 to midnight.
Okay. But the party is
Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So that's like what the concept was. It was like party bar for better clientele.
Yeah.
That doesn't want to have to deal with any bullshit.
Yeah.
And they brought that down this way. And it's, when we first started, I'd say Pete was like the real thing that got us off our feet, honestly. Like I learned a lot from him. Like I always credit Pete and I always will. Never.
Thank you.
Yeah, dude, I learned a lot from you. Watch the way you talk to people, the way you interacted with like good guests and building clientele and regulars and, just like the organization, dude, that place was a mess. And then Pete came in the first 2 weeks, the whole fucking place is spotless, completely organized. And he's like building checklists and fucking inventory guides and everything. He's like, this is how you got to do this or that. He's talking to like bartenders. I need you to be doing this. This is what our music's going to be like. And he's communicating a lot with like our ownership and building a relationship with Rick. Who's, again, he's like the primary operating partner. This is like his baby in New York, and he's going to be doing the same thing here. So he's like teaching Pete. Pete's relaying all this info to me. Eventually, they're like, okay, you're going to be the GM. So I take over after Pete leaves. Yep. And we just started building a team after that. So I think one of the first things I did was I hired Reed Ferguson. He's like my partner there. He was a co-GM. Like when I was a GM there, he was a co-GM with me. I knew how to do a lot of the operating. When somebody would be like, so who are you and who is this guy? I'd be like, well, I do the operations side of the business. Reed is the bar. Like he does all of the cocktail creation. He's incredibly knowledgeable. I learned, people sometimes are be like, dude, you know a lot of stuff. And I'm like, not really. Like in my head, I'm like, not really. I know maybe 10% of the things that Reed has taught me, and that also kind of has relayed over to Tyler as well. So Tyler's the current GM. He and Reed are like the partners now. But at the time I'm like, all right, I'm going to hire Reed. He knows how to do the things that I don't know how to do. We start making like a more permanent staff and just trying to like tighten the screws of this business and start building business. And it kind of just started slowly building. I say that first year, dude, we sucked. Yep. We were inconsistent. We didn't have a lot going on for us. We had staff interchanging. Like I remember the first time I got like that end of the year packet of like W-2s.
So
it was
many,
like
right?
Fucking this thick.
Yeah.
Dude. And I'm like, I don't know who this guy is. And like he was there for one day. I don't know who this guy is.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck, all right, just put this in the mailbox and send it off to him. And then I'm like, oh, I don't know who this girl is either. And I'm like calling people. I'm like, hey, is this your friend? Like, I think you know this girl. Can you bring this to her? Like now our stack is like that. Like we've maintained
consistency.
Yeah, we've maintained like a very, very good staff that just, I mean, I can't say enough good things about them, honestly.
Yeah.
Our staff is like incredible. They're smart, they're attractive, they fucking work super hard, they're funny, everybody gets along really well with each other. Like I love my job. I love what I do. I think it's amazing.
On a funnier, lighter note, what's the craziest party you two ever threw together? Could you think of one off the top of your head? Was there?
I mean, when we were there, like together,
Yeah.
I started saying we sucked, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
was there like a New Year's Eve or like anything like that was just insane? Could you remember?
I mean, the
I
place
mean,
was busy. Like on the
yeah.
weekends, Friday and Saturday were busy, but
Yeah.
like it's not like
like we would be busy for like 2.5 hours, and then
Yeah.
the place would clear out. Like
Right.
we'd start filing in at 10, and we would be weeded by
By-
10:05.
and
Yeah.
empty by 1.
And yeah, done by 1. And we were
Really?
like, how do we get business? Like all of what we were trying to do was like
Maintain.
figure out how to build business.
What was that
Yeah.
answer?
I mean, it's hard to say. It's
A combination of things. I think
Consistency?
a lot of things.
Yeah.
Culture.
Also, like
yeah,
I,
culture
you know,
is a big thing. Culture
Yeah.
is a big thing.
the vibe that we were putting out, identifying the things that were causing people to leave early, you know, and then tackling those and countering
Yeah.
them, you know.
Mm.
A lot of it had to do with like the vibe and the music also, you know. We were super critical about the music. and,
DJs
like,
are
Oh.
huge.
we would notice,
I
you know,
mean-
literally at a certain time you start playing this music and people just start filing out
Yeah.
the door,
Yeah.
you know, and
And then the DJs start doing this, and then we're like, no, you have to go back this direction.
Right,
you know, like
right.
just because you see this doesn't mean do this.
and that's tough to do too because the DJs don't want you telling them what to do sometimes, you know, depending on who you're working with. So it was like it's a struggle to find the right DJs for your place, you know, that play your place and your concept well because they also have their own kind of vibe that they bring
It's
to
like
the
a
table.
chef. Yeah.
And sometimes that doesn't necessarily suit your concept.
Correct.
So it was just a learning curve, you know, which I think is for the first year of any business being open, that's how that kind of goes. But I think 123 is a great example of someone that brought a fresh concept. It wasn't like a duplicate of anything else that was around town. You know, no one else was doing anything like that at the time. And, you know, got through those growing pains in that first year. And now it's like a fucking staple downtown and it's thriving.
Yeah, I'm super proud of
Yeah. What
just
you
to be a
built.
part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like just knowing that I was helping build this thing, you know,
Yeah.
with that, like with my friends, like my best friends, you know,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
fucking. I mean, I about to name the entire staff.
yeah,
Right,
Like
right.
literally, I was about to name the entire staff. But my best friends,
Yeah.
all of them.
We have
you know,
Reed on the
Tyler.
podcast next week.
Yeah, I'm excited to listen to that because he is
A
something.
hoot.
Fucking
Yeah.
character.
Fair.
Dude, yeah, he's insane.
It'll be a great one.
But yeah, like
So where does that leave you now? What's the transition to where you are now?
So at the moment, let's see. I mean, to be honest, almost like I feel like I'm not doing anything almost right now, and it's kind of weird to say that, but like I'll have to to tell you why. We're opening a location in Tampa, so I'm gonna go spearhead that. Tyler has like since taken over what I was doing, so at the moment I'm overseeing kind of like what they're doing, helping out, showing up, showing face, I guess, and hanging out. And if I see something I really, really don't like, which I know is never really going to be the case because Tyler and Reed are good, you know, and they've been there just as long as I have. They know how this business works. Then I'll say something. But again, I don't see anything like that. So I'm just overseeing them. When Tampa opens up, I'll go there. You know, I was in New York for like the last 3 months, being like the stopgap of GMs. They have our GM took a step back. They hired a new GM, and they were like 2 months out. So for 2 months, I was the GM at 310 Bowery. And then the new GM came in, and I kind of helped train him, and then I came back down this way.
Is that a scary step going into a group of people that all know each other and you're the GM that's from Florida and they don't know you?
You know, when I first got up there, I thought about that, and I was like, nah, I'm not afraid of that. I don't give a
Yeah.
shit. Like, I'm going to be me. I'm going to do what I do. And
You know what you're doing. You know what you're
yeah,
doing.
you know, and I loved it. And I loved the staff, and yeah, I feel like we all meshed really, really well. And I said, hey, these are the things that I'm looking for, and I'm going to tell you, like, if I see something that's wrong. And
Yeah.
they were good. You know, the staff was pretty good up there, so I didn't have to say a lot. But like, I don't know.
Who parties harder?
Florida.
Yeah.
I bet, dude.
I'm sorry. Sorry,
I was
guys.
gonna say that too, you know, like to
It's
your
just
point
different,
of
man.
like our craziest party story, which I guess is almost the opposite of what you just said. You know, 123 definitely goes hard,
Yeah.
but I feel like when you and I were there managing together, we weren't like ripping it, you know, and we were fucking trying to run the place and figure it out. You know, we
Yeah.
were very analytical while we were working. It wasn't a crazy
Yeah.
party.
No,
you know?
and it's like, dude, we're in the party
Yeah.
7 days a week.
Right.
You know, we're fucking there to run a business.
Right.
Like that's what the goal is. Like we want to make money. We want to make sure that this thing is running as as efficient as possible.
I'm so glad you just used that word, because to the point of like what sort of helped, I think, turn 123 in the right direction, or like one of the biggest growing pains I think we had was the insane amount of volume that we were doing at one point. You know, on those Fridays and Saturdays during those peak hours, we're doing so much volume. But we're like, how can we make more money? You know, even if we can't expand this timeline, because at one point we even talked about, you know, maybe we can't control how long people are staying. You know, people leave their house, they know the rounds they want to make, they know they're gonna go here and then hit this place after and then do this after. Maybe they just know at midnight they're gonna leave. You know, and if we can't help that, how do we make more money while we have them?
Correct.
And then efficiency became the answer to that. You know, and then we sort of developed, like, changed from the glasses being behind the bartenders. So now the glasses are right next to their wells, you know.
Dude, it
so
was so many little tiny
little,
things.
little tiny incremental steps.
Man, I remember Rick one time. He like, I was like talking to him. He's like, I timed this bartender, and it took him 5 minutes to make a drink. You know, it's like a specialty cocktail menu or something that they was like left out, and you know, so it was like, and now that's another thing. Take the menus off the tables at 10 o'clock. Now we can do these things, and it was like, all right, now we're getting better bartenders, and if they're not better, let's make them better. It was like so many little tiny things that now made that place good.
Right.
You know,
and efficiency is what it all came back to. Making the place as efficient as possible.
That bar is the most efficient bar in West Palm. Yes. No doubt.
Here's a question I always have the restaurant managers or owners, whatever it is. You got a girl or guy bartender, right? They have 6 friends that come up to the bar. They all pour fucking Patron tequila shots, right? Okay. Hand them to them. You have about 65, depending on the bar, $60 to $120 worth of shots right here, right?
Yeah.
What do? Do you turn a blind eye?
What do you mean?
The bartender just handed it to him. Happy birthday! Oh my god, it's on me. They don't charge
and
him for
I see them.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of leeway on some things. You know, it's like so.
Is that an unspoken rule?
No, I'm very forward with what I'm gonna say. Like, you are allowed this. If I see outside of this, I'm gonna need an explanation because I'm gonna see it and I'm gonna ask you about it. You know.
So what is this? Is there a number to that? Is there a well, what is that? You know what I'm saying?
All right, so the scenario is, hey, birthday group come in.
Yeah.
I poured them a round of shots, and I said it was on me. I would have probably been okay with that. You know, like 5 hot girls.
Does that bartender need to go ask you, hey, my friends are here?
Do they
Can I get them around the birthday shots?
Yeah.
Do they have a comp tab?
You ring everything in so that because we're like pretty good about keeping track of like what our comps are and where our waste is.
So they're not just handing the drinks over and going, it's on me, and then they go back to their computer, they ring it in, and it's, B-Day shots. And at the end of the night, they're saying, hey, yeah, these were my friends, and then you say, okay, that's okay.
Yeah, but it doesn't.
But obviously, you see that every night.
That way. Yeah,
you'll know if it gets abused.
Yeah, of course, and we know the staff that we have. Like I said, like I would put our staff up against any staff that I think I could ever imagine.
Yep.
And say like I trust these guys. They're good and fast. They bring a lot to the table. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But that's the thing is it always comes back to like, do I trust this person? If I cannot trust them, I don't even want them to be working there.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and I do trust the staff that we have. That's like huge for us. If I can't trust you, I don't want to work with you. I cannot work with you. I would not put myself in a situation where I have to rely on this person.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it. I would hire somebody else.
Okay.
So if that was the case, I would be like, hey, what's this? Or they would probably even come up and tell me, be like, hey, I just took care of a round of shots for my friends or something like that.
Right.
No problem.
And if you work at 123 or any of these bars, are you allowed to drink as you work? Was that a policy? Like at Ale House, and I'm not saying like drink, like get drunk, but at Ale House, they had a policy. If someone came up and bought you a shot, I was like, I want to take a shot with you, you'd get fired.
Zero tolerance.
Zero tolerance.
I mean, with me at Kachina and at my time at 123, it was always almost the same thing as the comp rule, where like I'm okay with it to a certain extent, but you need to come to me and ask each time. If you're going to be taking a shot with a guest, you need to get permission first for 2 reasons. Like it keeps some sort of accountability.
Correct.
And then also, I'll know how much you've had to drink that night, so you don't get the chance of abusing it, or getting too drunk.
And there's an understanding, everyone knows the point, where it's like that's too much. If you're pouring 40 shots, not 5, that's too much. If you're blacked out drunk bartending, that's probably too much. There's a line.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a line.
Yeah, no doubt.
At the end of the day, we're there to do a job. And if either of those things, whether it's comping drinks or drinking your drinks, are getting in the way of doing the job and making the business money, which is at the end of the day why that business is there, then you're not adding value to the business. And if that's the case, why are you there? And why would the management or the ownership want you to be there?
Mhm.
You know, so at the end, it always comes back to that. You know, there's levels to everything. You know, and obviously, you know, people are bartending, they're having fun,
Yeah.
and you're throwing a party. You want to be a part of the party, but you're also there to do a job and have to count money at the end of the night, and are
Right.
responsible for a lot of things and you know, finances at the end of the night.
Hard
Yeah.
question for both of you guys, putting you on blast here. You throwing a party, right? Who's DJing that party?
Not me, I'll tell you that.
No,
I'll tell you.
I'm saying.
Out of the lineup,
Selecta
out of-
Steve.
yeah, dude, that's my go-to.
Bro,
You already
Selecta Steve,
know.
man.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We have a lot of really, really great DJs,
Yeah.
but I can say this for sure. What Steve did with us when he was DJing with us on Sundays, he would bring this energy, like this vibe that was like, I can't compare it to anything.
Yep.
Also, but I will say this also. Tristan has since stepped in.
Mhm.
He's done a very, very good job, and I
love that
love
guy.
listening to his music. Dude.
Yeah.
Fucking killer.
Yeah.
You know, but sorry, not to be like, oh, Steve, you know, Steve is just, it's not like that, you know. But
Steve's number one.
Steve's my boy, dude.
Yeah.
What he was doing for us, he built this Sundays. We did nothing on Sundays. You know, we were making.
Like brunch or like night?
Oh, we opened up at 3:00. You know, we
Yeah.
used to, you know, Pete was actually the one. I think you. And,
I was working
and-
for Southern at that time.
Yeah. Oh, was it you and Reed? I thought it was
Yeah.
you and Reed initially who kind of like got the foot in the door, and then you just left, and then I was like, hey man, I'm Ryan. Like this is my number. Like I'm replacing Pete now. Like.
I remember
Yeah.
sitting down for the meeting with you as your Southern rep, and it was you, Reed, and Steve, and
Yeah.
bringing that Sunday shenanigans menu with the girl with the big boobs on the front.
Yeah.
And that's just the first time I remember like conceptualizing Sunday brunch as this new like relaunched idea.
Dude, we took a day that was doing absolutely nothing for us, like 20 people in over 8 hours.
Yeah.
To one of like the best
Parties. Yeah.
downtown. But what Steve was doing was he was building. All right, so what I see a lot of DJs might do is they play to the room, right? So whatever the capacity of the room is, they set the tone to that capacity.
Okay, so if you got 20 people, it's X. If you have 100 people, it's X.
Yeah, it's like, 20 people, it's on a level of like
Yeah.
1 to 10 intensity. It's like a 2,
Yeah.
a 20. And then 100, you're getting up to like 80 to 100%. You're putting your effort into it. Steve was just playing music that nobody was playing. And it's not like he was playing like the newest, hottest shit. Because yes, he was, but he was playing everything,
Yeah.
dude. And it was like, you go in and you feel it like in your soul. Like you do. Like it was just a warm vibe. No matter what like how busy the room was, if it was 20 people in there, every person in that room was having a good time. And if there was 100 people in there, every person in that room was having a good time. And it didn't matter. Like he was making a day for us. Like he built this fucking thing for us. It was insane. Like I can't get over it. He played a 12-hour set for us one Sunday. It was like a Sunday going into a Monday. And so everybody had off on that Monday. It was like a holiday weekend. And he played for 12 hours. And he played music for 12 hours that kept everyone engaged for 12 hours.
That's a lot.
We had people there. Dude, it's so funny. If you go on Google and you go to like 123 Datura, you can see what the average time frame of a guest might be. And it ranges from like 1 to 8 hours. And I think that's because of Steve, what he was doing. He was playing music that kept me engaged in like dude, I'm like bartending or managing, whatever it is. I'm fucking like dancing the entire day. He's playing the best music. I can't get over it. I wish I could just describe this feeling a little bit more for people who've not ever experienced it, because I almost feel like I'm describing nothing for you because it's just so like ingrained in the way that I felt. I can't be described almost.
I gotta see this man live now.
Bro, we
He's
gotta get him
amazing.
on here.
Yeah,
Steve,
yeah.
come on, please, man.
Yeah, dude. He is an amazing guy.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I'm fired up.
Me too, man. I love that guy.
I'm not upset. I'm so happy now that I know the whole situation. So when I go to 123, like I know what's going
Steve's
on.
the creator of a lot of things. I
Yeah.
told you he's the reason I'm Pete Casso, right?
That's
Steve,
true, yeah,
Steve
yeah.
said Pete
That's
Casso
true.
for the first time ever, and I was just like, that's genius. I'm gonna use that.
Yeah.
And now I'm Pete Casso, bro.
He's helped us build like quite a bit of things, man. I owe a lot to the guy. He's like an incredible friend of mine. If I get married tomorrow, he's at the wedding.
Hell yeah,
Really?
Yep.
man.
That's awesome.
Steve, you're the fucking man, bro.
All right, so Coda, what's the future for Coda? What does that look like?
I'm gonna stick with the group, Stanton Bowery Hospitality. Shout out Rick and Josh and everybody else involved, and until the wheels fall off.
Yeah.
I love the
Ride or
people I
die.
work for.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I owe a lot to them. They've let me be me, and like I said, I don't like doing things that I don't want to do, and they've never had to put me in a situation like that. They've given me a ton of freedom to allow me to run a business the way that I think it should be run.
Mutual respect.
They're the best, man.
Yeah.
And they've given me every opportunity. If I don't ask for a lot, but when I ask for something, they give it to me, and it's never like I'm not asking for a pay raise, dude. Like that's not money's not like that for me. Like I don't care about those things, but I'm like, hey, I want to do this in the group, and they're like, boom, done. I'm like, we're expanding. We've got stuff opening up in Philly, Chicago. We're looking for a lease right now in Nashville. We're like 2 weeks away from a lease in Scottsdale, and I want to be a part of it. I'm like, I want to help with all of these things, and they're like, no problem, you do it. We want you to. And like
awesome.
that's the future for me.
That's awesome.
I think.
Unless
I really fuck up.
Crash a fucking car at the valet lot.
Yeah, I crash one into one of the buildings or something. I don't know. But
do you are you partier? Do you party or are you
I don't do any drugs.
No.
I'm just saying. But like I don't do any drugs or whatever. So like when I'm tired, I'm going home.
Yep.
I don't want to be out till 5 a.m. I know that most of the time the next day, like when I was like really running Datura, I was getting a phone call from Rick at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
Like 11, and I want to be able to take that phone call and be able to talk to him about whatever he wants to talk about. So no, not really. I get blacked out like 2 times a year, and they're both at our staff parties.
Restaurant holiday party or whatever parties go hard. I remember that.
100%.
It is an atomic bomb. It really is.
Our staff party is open to anybody that wants to come, and it is the fucking best night.
Wait, where? Wait, what? Wait,
1, 2, 3
Datura, dude.
It's
putting a DJ on that normally doesn't DJ. We're bringing in all of our DJs that play with us, all of the bartenders, all of everybody's plus ones. They're the cooks, the bar.
It's
the
a
bar
rager.
backs, bro.
Let's do something with this.
When
is this?
We do it twice a year. It just depends.
Yeah.
Come.
One
of the best nights of the year.
You guys ever do guest bartenders?
We used to.
It used to be a regular thing.
Yeah, we do it every once in a while. You want to do a charity event? Come, guest bartend for it. Donate everything.
Speaking of charity events, you want to talk about your hat for a second?
Yeah, I do actually. Yeah, my friend Brad Gell, he started this charity. Well, I'll just kind of describe it a little bit. So, they put fridges in some local skate parks, and they fill them up with food because some of these kids that go there and skate regularly might not always have the best home life. Some of them I would say do, but it allows them to like stay at the park and skate longer. And some of these kids that are there that are young are nasty, and they will eventually be signed to something one day. But he's giving them the opportunity to be able to skate a little bit longer and giving them a little bit more access to an opportunity that is not always available or is overlooked, I would say, because, it's skating. Some people don't really think much of it, but, it was in the fucking Olympics this last year.
Yeah, right.
Zion
It's growing.
Wright won a gold medal.
The
And he's a
homie.
local dude.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal. And
Hell yeah.
it's pretty cool what Brad's been able to do with.
What's that foundation called?
It's called the Hangry Project.
Yeah.
I love that.
And they've got some pretty cool merch. So you should go on their website and buy some.
We'll put their info in the description.
Yeah. We love supporting philanthropies and businesses, whatever, that's such a good cause because it's taking kids that otherwise, what's their other plan, and it's giving them more time to do their craft. Like you said, it's shit like that, man. I'm telling you, if you are able to change people's trajectory at a younger age or whatever that upbringing is, it changes the whole factor,
I think that's what
so
they're
we love
doing.
that. Yeah.
In a very positive way. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's like when I was younger, that was like a thing that I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
But then you'd have to pick one or the other, and it was baseball for me. So
12
years old, it was like I can't break my arm anymore. I have to play baseball.
Was it Ryan who was Honey O's?
That was
Yeah,
me,
dude. Where's the cereal at?
Yeah,
gotta
what's
ask me the
going
cereal
on
question,
cereal
bro.
game, bro? Okay, Ryan, what is your top 3 cereals?
So
You gotta ask me the cereal question, bro.
give it to me. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the photography lady's name. She was great.
Berkeley.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she was
she's
dope.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank
So she said
She's
Honey O's, and
Yeah.
I had to rewind to be like, did she just say Honey O's? Because she did.
She did,
Yeah.
she sure did.
If you've never had Honey O's, go buy a box. Oh man, I said I was gonna bring a box in for you.
It's
It's
okay.
I'm
bootleg
sorry, dude.
Cheerios.
No,
man.
dude, this is like
No.
gourmet.
Gourmet.
Gourmet
Dude.
Cheerios.
Wow, we gotta hit up Honey O's for
All
a
right.
sponsorship.
Seriously, go check her out.
I'm going to get a box of Honey O's. I gotta try now.
That's
That's,
the best
our
one,
first
man.
step
Yes.
towards getting a sponsorship.
Who put you on Honey O's?
Probably my mom.
Wow.
Okay.
I mean, she was buying groceries. I don't know.
Yeah.
She was just bringing stuff in, and I was eating it.
So what's
and I
your
was
2?
banging.
Honey O's is your 1.
Honey O's is definitely 1.
Wow.
Probably Captain Crunch.
Okay.
All
You know,
right,
as an
cool.
adult, I think it's Captain Crunch. I know what I used to eat a lot. It was like Cocoa Puffs
Yeah.
and
Lucky Charms?
Cheerios. No. Just Cheerios. Like, cause my mom's shopping.
Yeah,
I'm-
yeah.
Mhm.
Whatever. If I'm like, I want Cookie Crisp, she's like, that's just cookies. I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah. Valid.
Yeah.
What's the difference in Honey O's? Is it the
Versus
ambiance?
Cheerios, it's they're a little bit thicker. They got a little more crunch and just
Okay.
like a little bit more sweetness to it.
Okay.
So they hold up in the milk really, really good.
Okay.
Do you like a soggy? Do you like?
I was just gonna ask
yeah,
that.
Do you like?
I like the crunch.
I let it
want the
marinate for a
texture.
little bit.
Yeah,
See,
I want the
JoJo
crunch.
does that shit.
Yeah.
It's almost
Nah.
gnarly.
You
Get
like?
the Honey O's, you'll like it.
Okay, I'm down. I'm
We're
down.
doing it. Yeah.
So
we got it.
JoJo's a Fruity Pebbles girl,
Okay.
and she also lets them marinate, and it literally
It's just like
soggy, dude. It's like a fucking
Okay. So I'm like a
wet
2-minute.
oatmeal.
Yeah,
you don't
yeah.
want it. You
Cold
don't want to eat that.
oatmeal.
You gotta let it preheat a little bit, and then I'm in.
preheat your cereal. What does that mean?
Yeah, that's true. Ryan, I'm gonna ask you.
While we got you here, real
Yeah.
quick, we want to do our reunion party, and we want to do it at 123.
I would love.
So I think sometime in December, right?
Ryan, I'm trying to do a little guest bartending. I'm trying to do a little partnership here. Guest bartending with a philanthropy
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and a bar
We got that.
and a crowd,
Right.
You need
and
that.
bring kind of the pieces of the puzzle together for a reason, for a cause.
Right.
Yeah.
We want to bring back every guest that's been on the episode between now and then.
And
Anyone that watches that wants to participate and come and hang out and do a little
have Pete and I
millennial
behind the
mentality
bar.
party.
You should do it at 4, dude. Like
Yeah,
4
right,
is perfect. So you
100%.
don't really know about this one because you haven't been to Datura yet, but 4 is adjacent, like directly next door to 123 Datura. It was like it's our late night concept.
Okay.
You know, we run from 10 to 2 at Datura.
Okay.
4 runs from 12 to 4 a.m. But we also use it as a private event space. Like it's only open
Correct.
one night a week right now during summer, 2 nights a week during the season, Friday, Saturday. It's an event space for us. It's perfect for like you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, take
exactly.
that over. You can put 30 people in that room and it feels healthy and feels good. There's a lot of energy. 80 people in that room, it's fucking bumping.
Yeah.
You know,
I
if you
want
get
a fucking smoke cannon.
Yeah,
I want
exactly.
it.
it's fun, man.
If
Yeah,
It's a
Grandpa
lot of
Pete and
fun.
Grandpa Nick go out, we're throwing a fucking party, right?
yeah,
Um.
I'll be there for it.
Yeah, fuck
Dude,
yeah.
I am excited. Well, this is it. We're doing it.
Got to.
And I love the philanthropy concept too. Bring it in.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
And do it for a reason. X amount of sales or whatever it would be, right? Or donations right through the Millennial Mentality go to,
Yeah, charity if you're choosing.
exactly. We love that.
Let's do it.
Last question. If you were to get a lip tattoo, what would it say?
So my girlfriend has a lip tattoo. It's actually it's not gonna be the same one, but I gotta
Yeah.
tell you about it. And she has a twin, so it says copy and paste on the other one.
Oh,
That's
cool.
so
That's
funny.
slick.
Pretty cool.
That is a good one.
Lip tattoo probably be something anime related. Honestly, I watch like a
Yeah.
ton of anime, so
All right. 5 minutes and less than. Give me what anime means to you. Because I've
anime
seen,
as a whole.
Yeah, I've never even seen anime.
You're not an anime
I'm
guy,
not
right?
an anime
Yeah.
guy. What is anime and how did you get into it? What does that mean to you?
Anime as a whole is just like a good outlet to tell a story in a way that you would never be able to otherwise. You know, like some things don't translate over from like an adult drawing, cartoon to real life.
Okay.
So that's kind of like what it is for me. I got into it just at a really, really young age. Like I remember, at one point it was not being streamed anywhere or on actual cable television or anything, but somehow these like Telemundo, whatever, was able
Yeah.
to acquire the rights to Dragon Ball Z, and I would go over to my neighbor's house before they would take me to school. I remember seeing Dragon Ball Z in Spanish. complete Spanish.
Telemundo.
Telemundo. And that was my first memory ever of watching something anime, and it was like a cartoon.
Is that the GOAT anime? Dragon Balls? Is that like the
That's like
the OG?
that's what had probably gotten a lot of anime watchers into watching anime. Yeah, because like we are like I was like the original anime generation, dude.
Yeah.
Honestly, like when it first started airing, I was there to watch it, and I would fucking I tell the stories every once in a while to somebody if they're interested, but now I got a platform for it, so everybody's
Hell
listening
yeah.
to it. But I would once it started getting aired on Toonami, Cartoon Network had this 2-hour segment.
I remember that shit. Yeah,
called Toonami, and they would play anime
it
from
was
like
late.
3 to 5
Yep.
or 9 to like 11
Yep.
or something, and I would try to watch both of them. But I would get out of school, elementary school, and dropped off of the bus at like 3:25, and I would sprint home with my backpack, like books and everything. Like it was heavy,
Yeah.
and I would sprint home to be able to get there by 3:30 so I could watch Rurouni Kenshin,
Yeah.
and that was like my muse every day as like a elementary school child.
The kids these days don't understand. I feel like you had to be there
Yeah.
on time. The show was gonna play
Yeah, it
at
was
that
gonna
time,
play.
and then you missed it once it was
Yeah.
over. There wasn't Netflix. You didn't watch it when you felt like watching it. You had to be there on time.
That was Tom and Jerry for me. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was my muse, dude, when I was young, and I started watching some other stuff. It was like Dragon Ball Z, Yu Hakusho is like a huge thing for me. I have it tattooed on my body. Like that's how much it means to me.
I tattooed a Pikachu on you.
Yeah, he tattooed a Pikachu on my
shit.
ankle. Yeah, he's holding a Cholula bottle because I
Yeah.
love hot sauce.
Ah, you
Um,
spicy. I told you.
Yeah.
So are you like a anime, like you watch it in different languages now with subtitles type?
Oh, I always have. There's some
Yeah.
things that like the dubbed version, like
Yeah.
the American voice actors just don't do super
Yeah.
well. So
Doesn't hit the same.
no, but there's like this thing about it is like I think that the people that are creating it prefer you to watch it in the language that you
Native
know,
lang- Okay.
so that you can watch it visually because it is a visual medium,
Yeah,
and they want you to be able to absorb that just as well as you're taking in like the language.
that is.
So I like to watch it subbed because I kind of think that, which is like subtitles,
Yeah.
because
You get like the accurate translation.
yeah, you get accurate translation and like the accurate voice actor. They have to get a second voice actor to be able to translate it
Yeah,
over.
yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't always carry over very well.
Yeah, 100%. I have a
Yeah.
hard time. I don't know that anime is my thing in general, but I have a hard time getting into it. I feel like for that reason, I have a hard time watching anything that's in a different language, and I have to just read subtitles the entire time. Or even like if like Netflix has a shitload of shows now that everyone's got like a deep Scottish accent or like super
Yeah.
British accent. I have a hard time watching those too.
Paige can't do the transition. I'll ask you a question. Have you guys watched the Squid Game yet on
Yeah.
Netflix?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Started it, but again, I had to read subtitles the whole time, and I fell asleep.
Just switch it over to the English.
But I didn't like that. Again, the voice
that's
didn't
what I'm
match
saying.
up.
It's the
so
same
it
thing
was
with like
weird.
anime. You go,
I'm not that literate. I can't
would
be reading and
rather-
watching it at the same time.
I would rather read the subtitles and hear it in like the accurate way that it
No.
was filmed. But I have a hard time making it all the way. I fall asleep beforehand every time.
It's crazy, man. They said it's the #1 watched film of Netflix of all time.
Yeah, it's insane.
Of all time?
Yeah. It's
Dude,
been
that
#1 for...
that show. Like I watched a lot of TV.
Yeah.
Dude. Like that's like one of the things for me that
Yeah.
get home. That's like what I like
Yeah.
to do.
You're vouching for Squid Games?
Oh yeah,
It's fire.
All right, I'm gonna try it
it's
again.
one of the best things I think I've ever
There's
seen.
a lot of Easter eggs in
What?
it, too. There's a lot of Easter eggs in it, too.
For
Wow.
certain, it's up there. It's with Breaking Bad,
Yeah.
fucking Peaking Blinders.
I'm telling
Dark.
Oh, Peaky
Okay,
Blinders is
Dark.
That's
the one.
that's a great example.
Yeah.
Though. Peaky Blinders accents were too strong.
Yeah.
I couldn't watch.
That's
it.
the thing for people.
I was about to get that buzz cut they have after Peaky Blinders. I wanted to be a British gangster after Peaky Blinders.
Sometimes my barber goes a little ham, and I feel like the guy from
I've
Peaky
seen that.
Blinders. Yeah,
I've
I
seen
told her
that
this
look.
last haircut. I was like, I feel like
I
I'm
almost
Peaky
started
fucking
smoking
Blinders.
cigs, dude. I almost tried a pack of
Yeah.
cigs. Like every 20 seconds they're playing, hey, you pussy. What are you doing?
I'm gonna give Squid Games another try.
Dude, definitely watch it, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try.
I'm telling you. But dude, with red light, green light, when they first started,
Don't
getting
ruin
the-
it for this guy,
yeah,
man.
sorry.
Don't ruin it for anybody watching or
Yeah,
listening.
jeez, dude.
Well, Coda, if they made it this far through, which a lot of you have, I love you guys.
Yeah, it's a long one.
What's your final remarks for them? What would you say?
Last night, like, what's my signing off?
Yeah.
I mean, what's
I
my
feel like-
going away advice?
What would your
Coda, I
advice
think, is
be?
a good candidate for the. What was the best advice you've ever gotten and the worst advice
That's a
you've ever
good one.
gotten?
I have gotten to the age, I think, or whatever, of or let's say I got the life experience, I think, where that's like a tough question, because the things that people have always like told you, given you advice, have probably either been ingrained in you at this point or disregarded. So it's hard to be able to refer to it because now this is the person that you are, right? But the thing that I will always remember is that story that I was talking about with the frog.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that was a good one.
I'll always remember that. You know, and my dad was always like drilling me with stuff. So I wish I could remember something that he fucking said. But again, that's
Like
just
you
the person
said,
I
it just
am
sort of
now.
molded you into who you are.
Mr.
Yeah.
Miyagi, yeah.
But yeah.
Anything off top is the worst piece of advice that you can think of?
Well, maybe for the best, going back to this, the best thing, I do like that my current boss right now, Rick, which I think will be the boss for the rest of my life, Rick and Josh, and among others. But he always like talks, we get like irritated with some things, but he's like, sometimes these people, they just fire their guns before getting all the answers. You know, so sometimes it's just better to not jump to a conclusion. Just wait a second. Let's fucking get some information before we make our decision. You know, it's better. That was also something that I kind of learned over in history, is that there's just so many different perspectives on something. You know, you have to be able to know all of them before just firing your guns. Yeah. You know, I do like that. Also the thing with, you know, the frog.
Yeah, that
don't
was a great
fucking
one.
dig a hole for yourself to the point where you can't get out of it. You know, again, like, don't fire your guns right away. Just take a step back, take a breather, assess the information, and then make your decision. You know, if you dig that hole and then you finally realize, like, damn, I'm digging a hole, and then you look up and you can't get out of it, you're fucked, man. I mean, maybe that's probably some of the best advice, those two things.
Yeah, I like that.
And there's probably something that I'll remember later on, and I'll just text you, Pete. And I'll be like, oh, fuck, I should have said this. The worst piece of advice? I don't know. Just wait for Reed to say something. Next podcast. I'm just kidding. He's a smart guy too, and he's goofy. He's a very, very goofy guy. People don't give him enough credit, I think, sometimes, because I learn a lot from him.
Yeah, for sure.
I can't give you bad advice. I don't want to give anybody bad advice.
No, I like that. Good shit.
Well, Ryan,
Coda, that was great, man.
On behalf of the Millennial Mentality Podcast, we thank you for coming on. Your story's amazing.
I had a great time.
The way you've progressed in the last, 5, 6, 7, even 10 years has been amazing, and you're really doing it. So cheers to you. And thank you guys for watching that incredible story. If you have any questions, you want to reach out to Ryan, we'll put his information in our bio.
Go rip it at 123 if you're over 23 years old.
And go to 123. From what I've heard, the concept is amazing, and my ass will be there quite soon. Look out for this event we're talking about with our philanthropies and bringing these personas and the concepts together. Yeah, because it's going to be awesome. 100%. So we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Coda.
Cry with me. Pour juice inside the soda, turn it over, watch it sink. Sometimes it might be purple, sometimes it might be that pink. Probably roll that purple diesel, that shit cute like my links. But I really like that Cali, cause that shit don't make me trip. Rather